get started today. Today we're talking about crop circles, alien or man-made. And what was the purpose of the video? The purpose of the video, when you talk about crop circles today, people say, oh, that's man-made. That's just people playing out there in the wheat field and everything like that. But crop circles go back hundreds of years. The first one was documented in the 1670s. And this has been going on ever since. And today, you did have two old men that said they made all the crop circles, and they showed with their board and ropes how they made them, but they died a long time ago, and the crop circles are still there. And I guess they was around for hundreds of years when they was all making the crop circles, and it's ridiculous. You can easily tell the real ones from the fake ones. And the fake ones are very simplistic, because if you're in the wheat field in the middle of the night, you need to do something that is simple. You don't want to be doing something that is extremely complicated. And, good thing over there in England, all the farmers not carrying rifles and everything as they do in America, because you would get shot. But in England, you're not going to allow a group of 100 kids in the middle of your wheat field and just have a little party out there and be doing everything. And it's so ridiculous. And the fake ones, you can tell. But the purpose of this is to show you what real ones look like. And around 15 years ago, they was putting cameras in field. That is the secret of catching all things now. The secret of everyone has a camera, and there's cameras everywhere. And what they did throughout the parts of England that was having a lot of crop circles, they started putting these remote cameras everywhere. And these cameras start capturing things. This is the secret of everything. If you think something's not real, start putting out cameras and your hands will start shaking on what the cameras will pick up. And what the cameras start picking up is these silver orbs. They would come around and start circling the fields, and then these patterns would form underneath with the silver orbs. Okay. Now, we don't have the technology to do that. Okay. And these orbs are not that big. I guess they're the size of basketballs or something. But we have tracked these orbs. They have been chased by helicopters. We have done everything. We don't have the technology to do this. Now, what I believe, so what they're doing is these orbs come over the field and they start going in circles around the field, and the crop starts falling over and making patterns. And within a matter of minutes, these orbs can make super intricate patterns. And as I said, this has been going on for hundreds of years. Now, the problem we have, which I haven't explained to you, now the purpose of this show, both shows, is to let you know things that you don't know about. Okay. And I've been telling you about different stuff. And we have talked about the people that lived on the surface of this planet, which is us. The people that live on the inside of this planet, which are our alien friends. Okay. And the gods, the gods with the little g's, they live inside. Okay. But there's other people that live on this planet too, which we have not discussed about. Okay. See, you have probably heard this week that we're going to get out of the climate treaty and whatever, and all these fires everywhere and whatever. See, the earth is a living organism. Okay. This is why we talked about last week when we went over Dia de Muerte, Day of the Dead, is that ancestor worship is the world's oldest religion. Before there was a God, before there was demons and angels, people used to worship their ancestors. After that, everything has evolved in the world. After ancestor worship came the worship of the earth. Okay. And people today, Indians still worship the earth. And a lot of pagans still worship the Great Mother. Okay. And that's why they, and the Great Mother, I hate to tell you, even have a name. So they talk about the mother and these environmental groups, how we have to take care of the earth and we must take care of her. And they keep talking about this stuff. But her as a name, I'm going to tell you the name of the earth. The name of the earth is Gaia. Okay. And Gaia is Mother Earth. And Gaia is alive. Gaia is like, we're like fleas on a dog. Okay. And, you know, at one time the dog didn't have that many fleas. Now the dog has like 7 billion fleas, and the dog is itching a lot. And Gaia has friends. There are beings which we don't understand that works with Gaia or work with the Great Mother or the Earth or however you want to disguise that. And that's what they talk about in paganism or in shamanism, where they talk about how they are praying to the east and the west and the great wind and the river and this and that and to the earth spirits. We don't understand how this earth spirit works. We don't understand any of this. Okay. And what these earth spirits do, which I told you before. Okay. The earth is an elementary school. We're here to learn something. Okay. Not to get too deep. Not to get too far off subject, but we're going to take that detour for a little bit. We left God as a speck of living energy from his left-hand side. Our goal is to go through every form of life, every type of creation, and return to his right-hand side as a splitting image of him. Okay. That journey can take 1,000 years, 1,000,000 years, 1,000,000,000 years. It doesn't matter as long as you're progressing forward. To move forward called progression, because to God time does not exist. To not move is called stagnation. To move backwards is called damnation. Now, we have progressed through a lot of different levels, and we are at the end of the physical level. We are super animal humanoids. In the scheme of things, we are getting ready to get out of elementary school. That's all the earth is elementary school. Okay. And if we graduate from elementary school, we get to go to college. Okay, where the big boys are. College is where the angels are. Okay. So, life on earth is all about one thing, controlling your free will. We have something called a mind, and the earth is here, and we're tied to this planet so we can learn how to control our free will. We can be a saint, we can be a demon, we can be anything we want. And this school called the earth, which real name is Urantia, used to be a paradise. We have turned the school into a ghetto and marked on all the walls and whatever, but we are just guests in the school. We are not allowed to burn the school down. We're not allowed to do a lot of things. Okay, I guess we can break the windows and do whatever we want. And this is what the earth spirits are supposed to do. They work on keeping this school going. This planet is 4.3 billion years old. Man, as we know him, has been around for 100,000 years. Okay. The earth is 4.3 billion years old. The Urantia book talk about through every age that the earth had ever had, there have always been an intelligent form of life on this planet. We know nothing about the history of this world. As I told you before, when the Anunnaki first came here, the old ones was here. Clover feet and leather skin. I guess that's what we would call dinosaurs. Okay. And the Bible talk about the snake was the smartest of all of God's creation, not man. The walking snake. Okay. What they refer to as the Nagash. Okay. So, there's a lot of things which are going on that is above our heads. You know, the UFOs are flying around because there's people visiting this planet. They're not visiting the primitive people on the outside of the planet. They're visiting the people on the inside of the planet. And we see these craft coming and going out of the mountain peaks and coming and going out of the ocean and flying around. We don't have the slightest idea what is going on. Okay. These earth spirits are trying to maintain the earth and try to maintain so life can exist on this planet. And we're burning everything down, sucking all the oil out, this and that. This is why they have made several movies already about in the future that the earth get tired of man and we are forced to leave. Okay, now why if they have made 2 or 3 of these movies, I don't know. And what do that mean that the earth will get tired of us and we will be forced to leave? I don't even want to go there. Okay, because we don't have nowhere to go. We don't have Earth 2. So, hopefully that day will not come. Because if it comes, we have nowhere to go. But these earth spirits and these other things exist on this planet. We believe that we're the only form of intelligent life. I believe these crop circles are some kind of communication system. That they're communicating with somebody and it's not us. That's why these crop circles, as you can see, they're in geometrical patterns. And it's like they're talking to somebody. But they're not talking to us. They're talking to somebody else. It's just like we talked the other day about these flashes in space. And we're seeing all of space is flashing like a Christmas tree. And we see flashes from the moon. And there's radio signals coming from, from deep within the earth. See, everybody is doing their thing. And they're like, what about those primitive people on the surface? Oh, don't worry about those primitive people on the surface. They're too ignorant and stupid to know what's going on. Okay. This is what is reality. Okay. So the UFO just fly around, and there's videos now, which I posted one the other day. You should all be on my Facebook page, my main page, and I also have the Metaphysical Society page. I posted this video about over the city of Miami, Florida. And it's dark and there's a lightning storm. And every time the lightning strike, you can see this giant UFO hovering over the city. And these orbs are coming in and out of the ship. Okay, we have no idea what is going on. We're just the primitive people on the surface. Okay, this is very sick. So, I believe these crop circles are some kind of communication system. But they are communicating with somebody or something, or maybe earth spirits are talking to themselves or whatever. And this is why these crop circles are appearing. They only appear in certain places on the earth, and they're just geometrical patterns. But they're not talking to us. And we see this stuff, and the analogy is like your dog and cat. It sees the newspaper, it sees the news. It doesn't really know what's going on. Okay. It sees that paper. When a dog sees a newspaper, he thinks it's something to piss on. He doesn't know that the newspaper is not for pissing on. It's for reading. He doesn't know that. He thinks, oh, she got more newspaper so I can piss on the newspaper. No, that's not the reason you get the newspaper. You get the newspaper so you can read it to see what's going on. The dog just not smart enough to know that. And this is what is going on with these crop circles. These crop circles are very intricate patterns. And whoever they're talking to, they're talking in some kind of geometrical code. And this is what hieroglyphics is all about. And also, this is what the Chinese language is all about. See, we have the Chinese have a picture language. I was around a lot of Oriental people when I lived in Houston for several years. And to learn Chinese, you must memorize the 2,000 characters in the Chinese alphabet. They have a pictorial alphabet. And if you don't memorize the 2,000 characters in their alphabet, you cannot understand Chinese because they only have 2,000 characters. Okay. We can't even remember the 50 states and the 50 capitals. How can we remember 2,000 characters? We're just not smart like some people are. Okay. But and the problem with Chinese, they can't introduce new words. So when something new come out like a computer, they must put two symbols together. In Chinese, a computer is a thinking box. It's the symbol for thinking and the symbol for box, and they put the two symbols together, and that's the symbol for a computer. This is what I think these crop circles are doing. This is some kind of pictorial alphabet, and this is also what people talk about from the wreckage of Roswell. When they saw Roswell, they said that on some of the I-beams inside the ships, there was these strange geometrical patterns. Okay. We think everybody's going to speak English or French or Russian. Okay. They got their own language that they're working on. They don't care what the primitive people are doing. Okay, they're doing their own thing. Okay, so we see these patterns. We see a lot of things. Okay, I remember one time I told you before when I was in Dayton, Ohio, and I lived close to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and all the weird stuff that was going on there when I was a kid. That was before they moved everything out to the desert. Okay. And in the late 60s, early 70s, we didn't know what the desert was. Now we know the desert is Area 51. But back in those days, one thing that happened once or twice when I was a kid, I remember one time I looked up at the sky, and it was like somebody had written with a highlighter pen on the sky with these strange patterns. And it was even in the newspaper about the strange clouds over the city. And they said, oh, those are just clouds, cloud formations. But it looked like somebody had written on the sky in some kind of geometrical. See, it was probably some warning that they probably had somebody at the base, and it was probably a warning. If you don't give this person up, what we're going to do to this planet. Okay. And they just told the ignorant people that lived around the base when we're wondering, what is that stuff in the sky? Oh, those are just clouds. Okay, don't pay attention to that. It'll blow away in a few days. But I remember staring up at that. And see, we see so much crazy stuff that we have no idea what is going on. And that is what is so sad about us. Okay. We take so much for granted. And we don't take nothing serious in life. And the same questions we have now, about UFOs or about crop circles or whatever, you can go back 50 years, people was asking the same question. You can go back 100, 200 years, they was asking the same question. Even back, which I told you before, even in Jesus' day, they was talking about these, what they called archons. That was these creatures that looked like aborted fetuses, and they had a hatred of man. Okay, see, people knew about this weird stuff hundreds of years ago. They talk about this stuff in Hindu texts. They talk about it in Necronomicon and Sumerian texts. And thousands of years later, we still have the same questions. We still don't know nothing about nothing or nothing about nothing. Okay. Because we're too busy because Thanksgiving is coming. You know what I'm saying? And Christmas is coming. It's just 1 week after Halloween. They already have the Christmas stuff in the stores. This is terrible. Okay. We're never going to evolve. We're never going to be ready to move forward in life. We're never going to be able to communicate. And as we talked about on a previous podcast about how they communicate in space with these by sending light transmissions and how they have to do the folding and unfolding of a message. Okay, we don't know how to do that. The only thing we want to do is we're too busy worrying about who's going to win the next football game. Who's going to win the next soccer game? Which just replaced our gladiator sports. We're not moving forward. This is why they keep saying man is not ready. We have to do a better job. So I cannot tell you the purpose of these crop circles. What message is being communicated? I cannot tell you that. Because they're not talking to me. They're having a conversation between somebody and somebody. And we're just saying, just like the dog, he see that weird writing on the paper and he pisses on it. He doesn't know what it says. He just... We see that weird pattern in that crop field over there. And we're like, oh, them teenagers did that. Okay. Yeah, in the middle of the night, they made something that's the size of 2 football fields and so intricate and so laid out in so much detail. Okay. It would take a crew of 50, 100 guys with all kind of, equipment to do that. And they did it, and it was made in 10 minutes. Okay. So, we don't know if these are warnings, if they're trying to tell us something, who they're communicating with. Are they sending messages back and forth? But as I said, this is nothing new. This crop circles in England they've been documented since 1670. This is 2019, and they're still being made. And ever since 1670, if you read that article from 1670, they thought they was the devil bending the crops down. Okay. And a lot of people today, hundreds of years later, now we believe it's 2 old men bending the crops down or some teenagers bending the crops down. We have no idea what time it is. We're just so ignorant and stupid. It's not even funny. Okay. It's very, very sad. Very, very sad. So what we need to do is start to try to, if we ever want to become one with them, one with our space brothers, one with these people inside the earth. We talked the other day about something extremely scary about there's 2 creations on this planet. About, the creation on the surface and the people that live in the underground ocean. And that's what the movie Aquaman was about. In the future is that they want the 2 worlds to be united. The aliens want, they're tired of living inside the earth. They want to come back to the surface world. See, our future is not looking too bright. Okay. And when all this stuff happens, and when they do this fake alien invasion and all this other stuff, and what is written in the Bible, and now we got what I was talking about on my podcast the other day. People have been hearing these sounds from inside the earth, these trumpet sounds from the sky, and the ground shaking like something's moving under the ground. We have no idea what is going on. We have no idea. Okay. And if some giant monster was to come out of the ocean like Cthulhu or any of this other stuff, or if this giant UFO, instead of the next time a UFO is sitting over Miami in the dark in the middle of a thunderstorm, what we're going to do if it's sitting over Miami in the middle of the day? Okay. What are we going to do? Nothing we can do about it. Okay. We have to do a better job. And we have to try to meet some of these people, introduce ourselves. That is what I'm into. That's the reason I'm into Gnosticism. Gnosticism, let's talk about the 5 levels. The 5 levels is to worship them, to work with them, to know them, to have the power of them, to be one with them. Gnosticism is to know them, because the Bible says the only thing that separates man from God is knowledge and eternal life. I guess that's why they want to keep us dumb. Because if we don't have any knowledge, and we definitely don't have eternal life, I guess we'll never be one. But I am ready. I don't know if you're ready, but I'm ready to move forward. And I'm tired of the BS life of just going to work, coming home, buying something new every weekend. It's fun. If you look at my place, I got pictures on the wall. I got this and that. I'm not exactly living out in the street. But there's more to life than just materialism. Okay, there's more to life than just having a party every weekend. And how many Dallas Cowboy games can you watch in a lifetime? I guess several thousand. I don't know. Okay, is that the purpose of life? And if we could find out what these crop circles are about and the code. And I bet you, since we have some smart SOBs out there, but the smart people only care about making money. They want to create something so they can make money. So if we was to get some of these people from MIT and all these other big schools, and if we was to get them to work on crop circles where they tried to figure out the message, and then we create a crop circle to where we could try to start a conversation with these people, we might learn something. Because maybe they're talking about, hey, California's burning, we need to fix that problem over there. Hey, the Amazon's being destroyed. Hey, maybe that's what they're talking about. Maybe it's a news broadcast about what's going on in this planet. And as I said about those movies about in the future, if we have to leave the earth because the earth gets tired of us. Okay, we don't want to wait until that happens. Okay, and we can't keep sucking out all the oil. The oil, which you don't know. We believe that oil is just in the earth. It's just something that's down there, and we could all suck it all out and just burn it all in our cars. Science know now that the earth has a circulatory system, because they thought lava and things was everywhere. But when they started to track out all the lava veins, or the lava tubes around the earth, it forms a pattern. And the lava tubes around the earth and how lava is circulating around the earth, it looks a lot like a circulatory system. Amazing. Okay. Amazing. Okay. And it was written in books thousands of years ago. But those people hundreds and thousands of years ago didn't know nothing. Is that oil is the lifeblood of this planet. I don't know if it's the lifeblood or not. I'm not going to say. I don't know. It's written in books though. Okay. But I know if the fleas on the dog keep sucking the lifeblood out of the dog, what's going to happen to the dog? Okay. Are we going to kill our planet? Will the earth look like Mars 5,000 years from now? Okay. Is that what we want? Okay. This is what we need to find out. So, we don't know who's communicating with the crop circles. We know that crop circles only appear in certain places around the earth, and they form geometrical patterns, and these geometrical patterns come and go. Okay. It's some kind of communication system. Somebody is talking to somebody. The only thing we know is who they're not talking to. And they're definitely not talking to us. Okay. But we need to get into the conversation because we live here too. And we need to start realizing that we share this world with these other creatures and beings before we piss them off. Okay. Because if we was to piss these other creatures off that live on this planet, we're at a distinct disadvantage because they know where we live. They know where all of our cities are. They know everything about us. We know nothing about them. See, we have tried to map the interior of the earth, what they call Asgard. They won't allow that. They don't want us to know nothing about Asgard. Which is not that direction, is that way. Okay. We know nothing. And they like it that way. So if we was to get in a war with them, the problem is they know where our cities are. We don't know where theirs are. How are we going to win that war? Okay. I guess we don't. So, but back to our subject. Crop circles are real. And they've been around for a very long time. Yes, you do have some crazy people out there, playing around, doing their little stuff. You're always going to have the crazies. Always have crazies. Okay. But you don't let the crazies control things. The Romans believed that civilization was the light that held back the darkness. And without civilization, the darkness or chaos would take over. And I guess the Romans was right. They got it from the Greeks. And what happened after Rome fell, the world went into the Dark Ages for 1,000 years. You know, the Romans had roads where they could travel thousands of miles, and within 100 years, most people lived and died in the town they was born in. Okay. Is that going to be our future? 100 years from now, the earth is going to be like the road, you know, like these science fiction movies where we're out there fighting in the desert, you know, living in, you know, like the Road Warrior. I don't want to live in a world like that. I don't want to live in, you know, the Romans went from living in apartment blocks 6 stories tall to 100 years later, they was drinking out of the river and shitting in the river. I don't want to go through that. Okay. What happened to that future they promised us about living like the Jetsons and how this super futuristic stuff? What happened to those? What happened to those space stations they were supposed to build? And they was going to build all these fantastic tunnels and trains that we could travel in 1 hour between New York City and Paris. They promised us everything. And what did we get? The only thing we got was the ability to go to the grocery store. Now you can bag your own groceries and check yourself out and put your groceries in your car yourself. And pay 3 times as much for it. Boy, did we do good in the future. We did fantastic. We did terrible. We did just fantastic. Okay. Something's not right. Okay. So, we need to keep going. We need to wake up. We need to quit all this BS that we're doing. And we need to figure this stuff out. So, remember. The earth, we want to know if we're alone in space. We are not alone on this planet. This planet belongs to 3 people. The surface of this earth is supposed to be controlled 1/3 by man, 1/3 by the animals, and 1/3 by nature. Okay. Man was not given dominion of the earth. That is a misnomer in the Bible. It's a typographical error. Man was given stewardship of the earth is what we was given. And dominion and stewardship is not the same thing. Dominion means it's yours. You can do whatever in the hell you want to with it. Stewardship is you're legally responsible. And the Bible says God will destroy those who destroy the earth. So, when we have to answer for what happened to that paradise I gave you? How did it turn into this ghetto? Who's going to pay that bill when it comes to? Okay. Who's going to pay it? That's stewardship. We running up the bill. We have to now. I know I'm talking crazy. I know I'm putting a lot of things on you, and you can't run out there and say, okay, let me grab my garbage bag and I'm going to try to clean up the world. You can't do it. The only thing you can do and everybody else can do is do their 2 cents worth. There's a lot of crazy people in the world. We have a crazy guy in Washington, D.C. right now. Okay. He wants to get out of the climate treaty. He wants to drill for oil everywhere. He wants to reopen all the coal mines. He wants to get rid of all the environmental regulations. We're making money. Don't worry about it. Okay. Who cares if the forest burns down? That's great. That means we can put cattle where the forest was. That's great. Okay, who cares if California, all the forest burned down? That's good. We could build more subdivisions. We could build more multi-million-dollar homes. Okay, see, this is the problem we're having. We don't give a. Okay. But what we're going to do when the bill comes due? And what we're going to do with these earth spirits, I don't know who they are. I don't know where they live. I don't know anything about them. But they're talked about in several books, especially in Hinduism. They talk about a lot of these spirits, and in also the American Indians know a lot about them. Shamanism. They worship them. Okay. They spirits. We know nothing about this. We know nothing. So, I tried to give you a lot of answers. I tried to, let me see, you're right. Okay, so I tried to give you a lot of answers. I tried to say, but unlike modern science, I am not going to say that Lynn Livsey got the answers to everything. Lynn Livsey figured it all out. Lynn Livsey is like Albert Einstein. I'm not going to tell you that. Lynn Livsey is just smarter than your average bear. You know what I'm saying? I know a few things that most people don't know. But I'm just know a little bit. Okay. And even though I got big friends in big places, and unfortunately big enemies in big places too, we never talk about that, and we're not ready to have that conversation. But anyway, they tell me about things. But a lot of times when I ask about certain stuff, they say you don't need to know that, or that's that information is being withheld from you, or this or that. They don't even want to tell me stuff that is going on. Okay. I try to ask them about how much time we have left, or they keep telling me that I'm not in position, and I need to get in position for the next step of human evolution and what is coming. That Lynn, you're not in position. You need to get ready. And I'm like, what is happening? What is going to happen? Okay. I'm just a pawn on the chessboard. Okay. And my job is to help myself, but to help you too. As we said, the USS Earth is sinking with 7 billion souls on board. Our job is we can't save everyone. And over the next few years, this is not Lynn Livsey talking crazy. Talk to some of our scientists, friend. Go on YouTube or Yahoo or whatever you want to, or Google it, and talk to some of these scientists. They start talking about 2025, 2030. We're going to have some very, very, very bad times. Very bad times. The future is not looking too well. Okay. They're talking about artificial intelligence is going to replace anywhere from 40 to 60 to 80% of all jobs. The way our food is done. One farmer can now create food that it took 100 farmers to do just 100 years ago. What are we going to do with all these extra people? What are we going to do? We need to move forward. We need to think about all of this stuff. And we need to start communicating. Somebody's talking about what does that have to do with crop circles. Because crop circles is a communication system. Those flashes of light in outer space is a communication system. Everybody's communicating. Except the dummies. We're too busy laughing and joking and giggling, as the Bible said. Before the flood, they was being married and being given in marriage up until the time the rain started. You know what they're going to say about us? They was being married and given in marriage up until the end came. Okay. We are not aware of what's going on. Something is going on around us, which is not good. Okay. Everybody is preparing. And even more scary. Maybe the crop circles are talking about that. Maybe the crop surge is talking about, they was talking about the air condition, what's going on in India today, where they're warning people in the capital, do not leave your house because the air is so, the pollution level is so high. They're warning people all this week to stay indoors. We got so many problems. And even our alien friends, as smart as as they are. We like to talk about the Anunnaki and how great they were and how wonderful they are and how smart they was and how they crossed the broken bracelet, they entered our solar system and found us and all this stuff. Even they had to abandon the surface of their world. Remember, the Anunnaki had a hole in their atmosphere. They came to the earth to mine gold to repair the hole in their atmosphere. What most people do not know, after thousands of years of trying to fix the hole, the atmosphere of their planet kept getting worse and worse and worse. And they was forced to abandon the surface of their world, and they moved underground. The surface of their world is now uninhabitable. Will that be the earth 500 years from now? The problem we have is if we try to move underground, there's already people living down there. You think they're going to let us move down there? I'm going to say, I'm sorry, there's no vacancies, no vacancies. Okay, where are we going to go? We can't go to the moon. There's people living inside the moon too. Okay, where are we going to go? I guess we can build giant spaceships. Okay. And be like Battlestar Galactica. Okay, I don't know. But back to crop circles. Lynn, what do all of this have to do with crop circles? Because crop circles is a communication system. We've been talking several times about people are communicating. We need to get in the conversation. We need to let these smart people, instead of them trying to figure out which is the next big IPO, what is the next big video game that they need to figure out, okay. We need to figure out the communication system. There's two of them that we know of. These flashes of light is a communication system. We need to learn how to fold and unfold. They're sending tachyon transmissions. We need to take these light messages, unfold them, and start reading what's going on. The crop circles are geometrical patterns, just like hieroglyphics, and they're talking to somebody. Maybe they're talking to the earth, maybe they're talking to spirits, but they're talking to somebody with this pattern language. Okay. And that's why these crop circles are laid out in certain ways. I believe they are communicating. We need to start reading their communications. And then we might discover, oh, they know what's wrong with the earth. Oh, they know how to fix it. Oh, they know that there's going to be an earthquake in 5 years in this area. Maybe we need to get the people out of the way over there. Okay, they might know all kind of stuff. We don't know what they know. Okay. But that's probably more important than Thanksgiving coming up. Okay. Right? So this is what we need to do. Okay. I see the flashes of light almost every night. Excellent. Okay. And these flashes, as I said, we have just opened a new observatory to watch flashes from the moon. We thought there was a few flashes coming from the moon every now and then. Now that we start observing it, the moon is flashing on and off like a Christmas tree too. Who is the moon communicating with? The people inside the earth. See, everybody's talking except we. Okay, we need to find out what these people are talking about. They're probably talking about us and how stupid we are and how they need to get rid of us. Okay, and what they're going to do with us. Okay. That's probably not a good conversation, but at least we need to get into the conversation. So this is the thing of crop circles. There've been crop circles, and they're constantly, if you want to see the latest crop circles, just go to Google. You could do it yourself. Go to Google, type in crop circles 2019. And there are several sites that every time a new crop circle appear, they will give you the name of the crop circle, who found it, what day it was found, the dimensions of it, they will lay out the geometry of it, they do all the scientific measurements on everything. And you can even get alerts. on your phone or your device every time a new crop circle appears. Is that sophisticated? Okay. Or you can worry about what the Kardashians are doing tonight. Okay, you have a choice. It's but watching the Kardashians, you're not going to get nowhere. And watching that West guy, oh my gosh, he's going to drive you insane. Okay. Or he might be the second coming. Who knows? But I would probably disagree. Okay. So we just need to decide what to do. So we had a great conversation today. We need to take life seriously. There is some massive problems with this planet we're having. The oceans are dying. There's fires everywhere all over the earth. The lakes are boiling. We got all this methane hydride that's becoming unstable on the bottom of the ocean. We got all kind of stuff going on. And we're laughing and giggling. Okay. We need to find out how to solve these problems. Okay. And this is what I think all these flashes are about. I think they're talking about what needs to be done and what is coming. And we're still approaching polar shift. Remember, polar shift is imminent. Okay, even scientists type that in on Google, and they will say polar shift is imminent. And if you really want to get scary, one of the first things, when polar shift occurs, you get volcanoes going off. And this is why if you want to stay up tonight and not sleep and be tossing and turning all night, you need to type in Yellowstone. Okay. Yellowstone, they say the eruption is imminent. Okay. And the last time Yellowstone exploded, it took out half of the United States. Yellowstone is a super volcano. It is the only one that most people know exists in this country. But I'm going to tell you a secret. America got 3 secret super volcanoes, not one. We have 3. But Yellowstone is the worst of the 3. But if you don't want to worry about that one, just type in what's going on Mount Hood. And that'll keep you up at night too. See, scientists know a lot of things that they don't want to tell us about. Okay. There's a lot of problems we're having. A lot of problems. Okay, a lot of problems. Okay. But remember, as I told you, the reason why they're not talking about this stuff, the reason why they want to keep us laughing and giggling and having a good time, and yes, my cat is out there. The cats are going to make it. See, I'm not worried about these cats, okay? The cats are going to make it. Me and you may not make it, but these gatos, they're going to make it, okay? This is the side point, but this, this is what they discovered when they dropped those nuclear bombs on Japan. When they dropped those nuclear bombs on Japan, they thought everything didn't make it. Everything got vaporized. You'd be surprised. Same thing in Chernobyl. The same thing in Fukushima, where they had all these nuclear things. They say, oh, the radiation's so bad, everything died, whatever. You fly a helicopter over there, you see all kind of deers and bears and all kind of stuff. The animals, oh, they're going to make it. Okay. They're going to make it. It's us which is the problem. We need to move forward. And if we don't, we're running out of time. They had decided to replace us. They changed their mind. They have agreed to let us cross. But do we want, they agreed to help us to cross. But they haven't showed anything that they're doing. They're talking to certain people. They're telling me, hey, Lynn, you need to do this. You need to do this. You're running out of time. We need to get you ready. They're not broadcasting that on TV. They're not telling the regular person. There's people out there that's receiving messages. There's people out there which are moving to certain places all over the world, which they call safe zones. Have anyone talked to you about safe zones? Of course not. No. Why not? Okay. We need to decode their communication. That's right there. Yeah, that's what it says. It's about decoding their communication. And we can do it. We got these smart people. But the only thing the smart people want to do is make money. Nobody cares, because you're not going to get rich decoding a crop circle. You're not going to get rich decoding some flash of light coming from some star 23 light years from the Earth, and trying to figure out what that star signal is about. You're not going to get no money off of that, right? Okay, that's the only thing that impresses us is money. So, do we have any good questions out there, or did I just scare everybody? Tomorrow we're going to have Lisa will be here, and she'll be able to help me going through my questions. But right now, they said money is the root of all evil. What money could do, see, money is not the root of all evil. Money is potential. And what we did in World War II, when we had a problem, when World War II first started, we was telling all the big companies, hey, we need y'all to quit building cars and start building tanks, and we need to, and the car companies and General Motors wasn't interested in making it. How are we going to make money making tanks? How are we going to make money doing this? How are we going to make money doing that? We didn't want to, okay. The government just said one thing. If you make cars, we're going to charge you a lot of tax. But anything you make for the military is tax-free. And all the companies converted all their plants to military production, because all the money they made was tax-free. Isn't that amazing? Okay. If we was to say tomorrow, we need to solve this pollution problem, and if you make a device that helps solve the pollution, it's tax-free. All the money you make on your device is tax-free. Okay. You think we couldn't figure this out in 5 years? If you tell people we got this pollution problem, if you make a device to get rid of all this pollution and all this plastic in the ocean, tax-free, that problem be solved in 10 years. Okay. That's all it takes. See, money is potential. You have to, with money, you can get people to do things they don't want to do. You just tell them, I'm willing, if you do this, we need somebody to do this job. We will give $1 billion to a company who can figure out how to do it. That's how the Kennedys, when Kennedy was president, figured out how to go to the moon. They told the rocket industry, we want to go to the moon. We're willing to spend whatever money it takes to get there. And we went there. Okay. Money is the only problem, right? If money's not an issue, you can do it. Okay. Right? So, that is what we need to do. So, in closing, for those who missed it, people will say, I thought this thing was about crop circles. He didn't discuss any crop circles. We showed the video on crop circles. If you missed the video, it will be posted, and you'll be able to see all your crop circles. But you can go right now and replay the video, and you can see the difference between the real crop circles and the fake one. The real ones are ones you can go out with and make with you and your buddies drinking beer in a few hours in the middle of the dark, and you just have strings and boards and, okay, yeah. It's fun. Okay. The real ones, you couldn't make those in the middle of the day with an engineering crew taking 2 weeks. You couldn't. It would have a hard time making those. And those are made within a few minutes in the middle of the night. Okay. Because those silver orbs start circling the fields, and voila, the pattern is there. But if you get past the beauty of the pattern, you will see there's geometry. This is a communication system. They're showing things. This is nothing but hieroglyphics. This is some kind of communication system. They are talking to somebody, and there's a conversation going on, and they're using symbols to communicate. But they're talking, someone is talking to someone else. And we're the dummies who don't understand. And after hundreds of years of watching them make these patterns, we know as little about these patterns today than we did back in 1670. We have learned nothing in all of this time. But now we know it's not the devil doing it. Since we put cameras in the field, we have documented the orbs. And we have chased the orbs with helicopters. And if you want to go on YouTube, there's lots of videos about them chasing those orbs everywhere. Okay. They try to chase them. They never catch them. But, you know, those orbs can move very fast. But anyway, somebody is controlling those orbs. Those orbs are nothing but alien drones. Okay. So, we did a good. So, I hope you enjoy this, but the purpose of this meeting is there are a lot more people living on this planet than us. We live on the outside in Midgard. The aliens and the gods with small g live on the inside. We have these earth spirits and all kind of this stuff that, you know, I don't know where they live, maybe on the mountain peaks or whatever, but the earth is a living organism, and there's creatures and beings that work with the earth, Mother Earth, whose name is Gaia. You need to look that up, okay? And that's why these environmental groups keep talking about her, and we need to protect her, and we need to take, you know, all this her stuff, because we need to worry about Gaia, because Gaia's sick, okay? Because there's 7 billion fleas on this dog, and we're sucking the blood, which is the oil, out of the dog, and we're killing her. Okay. So this is what the purpose of this meeting was.